We got Romello Watson in the building. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. Just ready to share my story and excited to be on here. This is an amazing opportunity.
Yes, sir. And Grambling State commit. Uh, before I talk about the recruiting visit, I wanted to hear your story from going to high school to the JUCO route, becoming a JUCO
Mhm.
All-American, now Grambling State commit. What was it like to get to this point?
It was a tough route, as I can say. It was a lot of points in the route that I'll say people that are normal that just don't love the game of football. They would have gave up. And it's how I can say I started off as if boom back when I was in high school. My freshman year, I went to Arlington Bowie. And at the time, Bowie was more of it was still kind of learning how to like to gentrify everything, get all the past Bowie issues away and bring in the new Arlington Bowie, like bring in a new system and everything, new principles and all that. And I kind of got caught up in like the fast life of, when you first leave junior high and you go to high school. So it's kind of like I was in with the new stuff. I was in with the crowd, and I kind of got into a little trouble. I got into a fight, and it ended up getting to the serious point. I'll say it ended up getting serious, and I ended up getting arrested at school. So that happened, and I remember I was sitting in the jail cell. It was like it's called Kimbo. It's like one of the juvenile jail detention centers. And
Hmm.
I remember like calling my dad, and then my dad telling me like, man, at some point in your life, you just gonna have to know when it's time to man up. Because now you're still a kid, but it's like you're in a man situation right now. Like at this point, you're gonna have to learn just when to man up. So I remember I sat in a jail cell that night, man, in the bunk. Like the thing that got me was when I knew this wasn't the place for me. Was when I got in there and the bunk was about this big, like
Oh
thin and
man,
all.
that's
Like man, that was the worst part
oh
of
boy.
of everything. And then I remember we had to sleep with a tank top on, your drawers, and some socks. And every like hour, the dude will come in and shine a light through your windowsill, so like to see basically if you're in there. So it'll wake you up every time you do it. Man, I remember, and that at that point I was like, yeah, this is not for me. And I was in there with some people that had some serious charges, like some murder charges, and I was in there with people like that. I'm like, man, this is not for me, at my age. And I remember the next day, we went to court the next day. So the judge brought me in, and the dude in front of me, dude had like 15 charges and like 5 felony charges. It was crazy. And his parents
Damn.
was crying and stuff. I remember the judge looked him in his eye and told him, yeah, you will not get out of here ever. And they took him back. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, and I got 3 charges like from school because, what had happened was um, I went to school, boom, got to the fight. And at the time, I didn't know how to control my anger. So this dude, I was walking down the hallway going to lunch. Me and this dude had gotten to prior altercations before, but it was on like social media. That's when they had Kick, and Kick was a popular social media. So I remember
Hmm.
me and him got into altercation on there, and his thing was when I see you, we gonna fight. So that's the first thing I seen him. That's when I expected. But the difference is he spit on me and ran at the time. I was kind of skinnier dude, but I still was tall. I still was 6'3", but I was skinnier. And I remember he had ran, so it was like at the time I didn't want to chase him. I didn't want to chase him. And I remember he had a class after that with me. So this dude I was cool with, um, he always had a whole bunch of stuff. He always had exotic items he'll bring to school, this different type of stuff. I remember he had some brass knuckles, and I remember I was blacked out and all that, so I tried them on, not remembering the fact that okay, boom, I'm already mad, and my head is already in a different race right now. I'm trying to get to this dude. I'm trying to get to the old dude. So I got the brass knuckles. I'm still blacked out at this point. When I remember when I had seen him in class, like 15 minutes later, man, I gave my one of my friend girls my book bag and stuff, and next thing you know, I just went crazy on him. And at that time, that put me at, I think I had it was around three felony charges. It was bringing a weapon on school grounds, using a weapon on school grounds, and then I think it was assault on school grounds. So it was like it was about three felony charges, and she's reading this off, and my parents and she asked my parents, my mom and dad, they're telling her like he's normally not like, he's never did this before, he's never gotten into any trouble. My mom and them telling them all that, and she's reading it off, and this is where I realized God is as powerful as He is, because after she read that off, she looked at me, I looked at her, she told me, you know what? I'll never want to see you in here again. You're free to go. And like, I kid you not, I've never cried like that before, because at the time, the charges I was facing was going to I was going to be basically put in with adults. They was going to charge me as an adult at that time with the charges I had. So that would have been detrimental. I wouldn't even be here right now if at that point, if that would have went the way it was supposed to go, I wouldn't even be here at this point. So that happened, and I remember going to school. They had to send me to it's kind of like a detention center school, basically for like people who had charges and stuff, who got kicked out of school, they got expelled and stuff like that. So I'm in there with them, and every CO, every guard in there, they all play football. They all played for TCU at the time, because it was in Fort Worth. It was over there by TCU. They all played for TCU. So I was a basketball player at the time. Like, I just wanted to hoop. I still was in AAU. I got back into it with my coach with the AAU tournaments and stuff. So he's put me on, and I just want to play basketball. But I remember sitting in the classroom with them every day. They asked me, like, man, if you can get at least 30 to 40 more pounds on you, we put you at defensive end, you'll be a beast. And listening to them, I kind of still want the hoops. I ended up getting out of there, ended up graduating that school and going to my Arlington Seguin at the time in my sophomore year. That's why I started my sophomore year. And I remember the head coach there at the time, when I was signing up to go to school, I'm walking through the school, he's right there. So he followed me and my mom everywhere. He was begging my mom to let me play football. And at the time, my mom was on what same mindset I was on. I was going to play basketball. But when I got to the basketball tryouts to watch who actually was hooping, it really didn't excite me as much. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to hoop for this game. So it was at the time I was like, man, yeah, I'm not going to play basketball here. So I had the defensive line coach as my teacher in my first period. So me and him had a long conversation. I ended up going visiting the practices and actually like watching them do what they do. And man, he ended up getting me my coach, Coach Rink. That was my defensive line coach, Coach Rink. He ended up getting me to where, you know, I basically got to the size I wanted to be. In the weight room, he was pushing me, you know, telling me what foods to eat, what regiments to go by and stuff. And he ended up building me into a lineman. He ended up getting me to a lineman. At the time, I wasn't even like, I was a paperweight at the time. And he ended up getting me into building me into a lineman. So I played D-line from my sophomore year. And junior year came, we got a new head coach, Joe Gordon. He played at Kansas State, was All-American 2 years in a row at Kansas State, was on one of the first NCAA football games. I can't remember the actual name of the game, but I know it was like 1996 version. It was one of the first NCAA games.
He was them little pixel graphics.
Yeah, he was number one for Kansas State. Most people remember him because, you know, he played in the league too. So he was the new head coach at this time. So when I heard that, man, I was just trying to abide by anything. I was trying to find my way into the program at that point. I was just trying to solidify my spot in the program. So he ended up one day he ended up telling me, man, I don't need you at D-line. I need you at O-line. Because it was like, I need you to block. And as a D-lineman moving to O-lineman, the transitioning is weird. that first year is going to be the weirdest transition you ever had because you're used to attacking and being on your toes. Whereas an old lineman, you want to attack, but it's like it's a way to attack. It's not like, okay, boom, I'm on my toes like a D lineman, I'm gonna hit you, then throw you. No, it's more of, well, I'm gonna get under your pads, I'm gonna run my feet, but I'm gonna keep my feet in the ground. I'm not gonna keep my feet on my toes. I'm not gonna be on my heels. I'm not gonna be any other direction. I just keep my feet in the ground, but I'm moving them at the same time. So I was learning that, and I still was good at it. I was getting pancakes. I say I started my first game. We played who did we play? We think we played Everman. I think my first game, I had like about 5, 6 pancakes. But it was just the way I was pancaking. I wasn't doing it the right way, but I was getting the pancakes. So I was getting the hang of playing on lineman. Senior year came by. I probably played online for half a year at that time. So the senior year came by. I got to doing, you know what I'm saying, it got easier. It got real easier, and I was I'll say I had a pretty good senior year. I had like 40, 50 pancakes. It was a lot. It was so much I couldn't even put it all on the film. And I remember at the time, most of the schools that came in to recruit me as a D lineman, they didn't want me as a lineman. They wanted me as a D lineman. So it was like I was stuck with, I'll say, 2 offers. And one of the offers being Angelo State, a Division II school in Texas. And the other one was Kilgore College. And also another one, Tyler Junior College. Well, Kilgore at the time was ranked number 6 in the nation, so you couldn't go wrong with that choice. You had, like, everybody was going
Right.
D1 out of Kilgore, so it was like, man, I might as well just go ahead and go to Kilgore. And the head coach is black, he a brother, all the coaches' brothers, so it
He
was like, man,
relates
you
to
know, I
you,
feel at
man.
home. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I told my mom, I remember my mom went on a visit. Man, she's like, man, I don't even care. Where is it at this point? You got a brother as the head coach? This time
Mm-hmm.
he was the first black head coach in the history of that conference. So it was like that off back was just history in itself. I was already making history just going to that school because I was one of his first recruiting classes. And I remember I got there, man, it was pretty hard my freshman year but I still had the intangibles, my bad. I still had them to play O-line. So my freshman year, I was going crazy in the summer. Like I was pancaking dudes that been there, dudes that played at big universities and transferred in. I was going crazy in the
Mm-hmm.
summer. And I remember I was supposed to start off that year for the left guard at the time. Mose, he went to Baylor. The left guard at that time, he was out for the first game because of prior things that happened last year. So he was out for the first game. The plan was for me to play in his spot as a freshman that first game against Tyler Junior College. Well, going through the summer practices, going through summer scrimmages, the first summer scrimmage, I ended up getting the linebacker came off the edge. His name was Trey. He transferred in from Syracuse. He came off the edge and missed the running back. The running back's running behind me, and I wasn't running my feet at the time. Next thing you know, his whole body went through my knee, and it was like it was the right side too, the right side of my kneecap. So it kind of ended up spraining my MCL at that time. It was like a slight sprain. It wasn't as bad as it was as you would think it would be. So you end up a couple of days go by, it stopped hurting as bad. So I ended up using one of my friend's braces for the next scrimmage. And at this time, the next scrimmage scrimmage going by, boom, I'm blocking. Next thing you know, my center at the time, he missed a blitzing linebacker, and he fell right into my knee, bang, right into that kneecap. So this time, it popped. I felt the pop this time, and you know when it popped, that tear come out your eye. It's like you're not crying, but it just forcefully come out your eye. And I'm like, man, this thing is hurting. And I tried to walk on it, I couldn't. And I was pretty much out for that whole freshman season. And I had the red shirt at the time. I ended up getting late on my medical red shirt, so I didn't get a medical red shirt. I had to use regular red shirt at the time. So boom, I got back home. I was training, but when I got back home, it was December 16th. At the time, my mom was fighting some charges. At the time, my mom was locked up when I was younger. Like I'll say, she got out of jail. I say around my third grade. Around third grade, she got out of jail, but she was locked up prior to when I was a baby. So it was like I had to grow up at that time, moving house to house, moving with my brother. My dad worked every day, so it was like he couldn't come home and watch me. I was in third grade, so it was like he had to send me to somebody like my grannies and my aunts and uncles just to watch me. I ended up living in Oklahoma with my brother too before my mom got out. So at this time, my mom was fighting some charges that she had got recently in Las Vegas on a trip. So I'm coming home thinking everything fine and good. So I'm in the house, sleep. Boom, I wake up the next morning. It's around like 10 in the morning. I remember this day like it was yesterday. Um, I called my mom and she wouldn't answer the phone. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Usually my mom answers the phone first ring. She usually know I'm about to call her before I even call her. So it's like I'm calling her and she not answering. I'm like, no, what's going on? I'm looking around like, what's going on? So my mom's calling me back, and it's not my mom. When I answer the phone, it's my auntie. This is how I know everything's wrong. Cause my auntie, I'm like, well, auntie, why you got my mom on the phone? Like, I'm thinking it has to be something wrong. And she told me, she was like, yeah, your mom just got charged with 30 years. And so it's like, yeah, she said she's gonna be fighting this sentence. They just put 30 years on her, and boo boo. I remember at that point when I heard that, I punched a hole in the wall. It like my hand literally went through the wall at that point because like I hit the wall so hard, like like my hair almost came out the other side, like that. Like that's how hard I hit the wall. I remember my dad came in, he's like, man, what happened to the wall? Boo 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 boo. And I remember I had told him, and then everything had happened, and so I had to go. I had to go back to Kilgore at the time on a knee injury, and I'm wearing a brace. And then at the time, my mom's locked up, so it's like now my resources are getting slimmer. It's just my dad, and at the time he's finna retire, so it's like his resources are getting slimmer. And I remember that same day I heard when I found out what happened. I went to the gym. I was in the gym for about 6-7 hours. I remember I got in the gym around 7. I didn't leave it till like 3 in the morning. Me and my homeboy, we was in there hooping, then we go lift weights, hooping and lift weights. That ended up becoming a daily regimen for me. I ended up going into the gym around 6, 4, 5 o'clock, and then leaving out the gym around 2, 3 in the morning. Every day. That's when before COVID, when everything was 24 hours. So I'll be in there just killing it. I remember I had to go back to school, so I started that around the 6th.
You there, Romello? As he comes right back in, I want to say this young brother, his story is something that young folk can listen to about adversity and trying to um, accomplish any goal. And with the faith of God and believing, good things can happen. Romello, are you still there? So I'm gonna wait till he come back in. As he comes back in, I'm gonna read the comments. Um, my Mark 1000 Thomas says that's why these young men needs these NIL deals. They definitely need the NIL deals. They need the NIL deals, and any coach who are against it, I don't really trust it. I don't think they really care about these kids. Hey, Romello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah. So somebody had called me. I had to tell them I'm
Oh
on an
man,
interview
you know
right
what I
now. So,
do?
yeah,
Do you have an iPhone?
yeah,
I
yes,
go
yes,
on
sir.
settings, notifications. Like I turn all that off. I
Mm,
turn like when I use these streams. That's exactly
yeah,
what I did. I learned that. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Uh, my Mark Thomas says I'm a JSU alum, but I love competition coming from the SWAC. Wish this young man all that the Most High has for him. Yes, the Most High is definitely looking out for him. And the SWAC competition, I know that JSU has a lot of talent, but I'm so intrigued with the rosters that are being built around the SWAC's landscape. This is literally a renaissance in the swag, and I can't wait. And we're back. Hey, Romello.
Okay. All right. I had turned it off. Okay. All right. So yeah. So let me get back to where I was at. Okay. So yes, I did it as a daily regimen. So I ended up finding out December 16th. So I did that from December 16th all the way until I think it was the 7th of January. We had to be back. So that's 20 days. And when I went on the scale, let me see, I left Kilgore around 305. I went on the scale on the 6th, I was 285. So I had lost like 20 pounds, like actual like weight, not just water weight, but actual weight. And I had picked up a lot of muscle. So at the time, I'm built. Like I look like I went to a military camp for a couple of days or something. I'm built. So I'm ready to work. I'm ready to grind. At the time, I got the pain of my mama being locked up too. So that's another drive for me. So we're getting the workouts. We doing bear crawls and stuff. And as a lineman, you would think a lineman doesn't do. Man, I'm eating through. I'm just whoosh, whoosh. I'm eating through the bear crawls. I'm finishing like I'll say a minute before everybody else is. And they looking at me like, man, what this dude on? And at the time, I'll be taking a C4 to pre-workout, so it helped me work out too. It helped me release a lot of my energy. So I'm taking that. I'm on that too. So I'm moving. And they look like, man, what this dude? This dude went home and just went crazy. And at the time, I wasn't associating myself with nobody. I'll be in my room. I had some friends that didn't play football, so I'll be over there too. And as far as everybody on the football team, I wasn't really associating myself with them. And people was telling me, "Oh man, you fake. You this, you that, you that." I'm just at the time, I got something I'm trying to work for. I'm trying to grind for. And that's before COVID. But when COVID hit probably, I'll say a month after that. Like it hit while we was in school. So I remember they came to us we had to pack up and go home, and we'll do classes online and all type of stuff. So I remember I had to do that. So as soon as I got home, I had called my sister and stuff. She did my hair. And then she's doing my hair. She's telling me like this job she just got. And it's at a warehouse. It's called Hello Fresh. This before they were really popping. This is like the startup. So she was telling me how she was making some good money, some solid money, and I really didn't even have to do too much of a resume. All I had to do was just put my name, what degree I was working for, and then I'm in there. So at the time I did that, sent it to the lady. I'm working with my sister the next day. So I'm in there working with my sister, and I remember at the time I was one of them dudes like when I go into a job, I don't like to just like do repetitive stuff. I like to like have a lot more control, like a lot more, power. That's how I knew working is really not for me because I like to be like a manager. Like I want to be one of them dudes that manage the operation instead of working with the operation. So I remember I was walking around chopping it up for everybody, and as I'm doing this, not knowing I'm moving up higher and higher in the company as I'm doing this. I'm just not, and it's not. I'm not even doing my job. I'm just walking around talking to people, finding out what's what, who's who, and I'm just moving up as I gradually go. And my brother also worked there too. He worked in the back with the forklifts and all that. And that's why I wanted to get. So I kept asking people how to get back there. Boom, boom, boom. I'll say 2 days later, they ended up putting me back there. I ended up getting back there. The manager got me back there and everything. And I'm back there working with my brother. But he's not on the forklifts. He's doing another lift. He's doing like a walker jack. It's something before you get on the forklift, but you got to get trained to get on it. So as I'm doing that with him, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this either. I want to do the forklift. I want to do the highest position, get paid the most. So I'm moving up in the company, and I remember there's this guy named Antonio. He's the lead over everybody in the back. So I went to him. I'm like, man, look, I'm trying to get on the forklift. I'm talking to him, telling him I know how to drive it, telling him my dad did it, said show me for you. I'm lying. So I'm telling him at this point, I just want to get on the forklift. I remember he threw me on there and he had somebody train me. So as the dude is training me, I got the forklift probably I'll say like it's like some little what they call it, the forks. I got the forks probably I'll say about 20, 30 feet in the air in the fourth rack. So he's training me to pull the stuff down. So as I got the forks all the way up there, I remember the dude looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'll be right back. I'm finna go to lunch." And I'm looking at him like, dude, so you want me to get this down by myself? I'm looking at him like, come on. Like I got all that up there. Like it's I'll say 20, 30 feet. So like the way you gotta lean back to look up to see it because you're doing the controls like this, but you're leaning up and you're looking at it. So I'm looking at him like, man, he's just gonna leave me. He's just walking. Just kept walking. I'm like, oh man. So I'm sitting there thinking like, how can I get this stuff down? So I'm playing with it, and I almost dropped the paddle at first. And I'm like, okay, hold on. That's not how you do it. So I'm playing with it. Next thing you know, I brought it up and brought it down. I looked at him, I was like, man, it's easy. Because it's like a game to me. It was like a game controller at the time to me. So I'm working through it, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I'm flying through. I got my head, I got one. You don't supposed to wear AirPods or headphones on a forklift, but so I gotta have my music. So I got my AirPod in, but I got my gator on, so it's like I'm covering the ear, this one ear while I'm doing it. So it's like they can't see my my AirPods. So I'm listening to old school, hip hop, everything. I'm jamming Isley Brothers while working. I'm just getting my day passing by. And I'll say my first actual check was like $2,500 for 2 weeks. And that was I was 18 at the time. So that was some crazy money at the time for me. Like $2,500 for 2 weeks. Man, I went crazy when I seen that check. I bought so many shoes. I ain't even know. I hit StockX up every day. Like it'll be like every day. My dad
And
like,
brother,
a new package.
When I had a check that big before, 3,000, when I was younger, I used to splurge. I'm not gonna lie, man, because it's the most money you ever seen that you made of yourself.
Oh yeah.
Like, you just want to buy everything, man. I would buy so many Jordans. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. That's true. I was like, man, I feel good because that was my money. I told my dad, man, come on, I'm buying the games. The new games come. I got the new Call of Duty. I got everything. I got the new 2K. I got all the everything on Madden. I done bought everything. So my dad looking at me like, man, you making this money. But the thing is, I found out that's when I found out about overtime. You come in, you can overtime, you can eat them up. So I'm coming in every day. I remember I went in probably, I'll say 6 days out the week, about 14, 15 hours a day. So I'm killing them on the paychecks. Like I'm talking about, I'm getting 3, 24, 25, 2,600. I'm killing them on the paychecks. And that's before I had to go back to school. So I did that for 3 months. Then I went back to school. So when I got back to school, I was just at that point balling and splurging at that point. So it's like people were looking like, man, what you done did, And people think I just sold some drugs or something. People ask me, like, you just sold drugs? What you been doing? Did something illegal? I had took my my car up to a rim place, and the dude there was like 40. He was doing he's a mechanic. So I asked him, boom, I'm trying to get some rims and some new tires. So the ones I wanted was like 2,500, about 2,500. So at the time, he was like, man, my car limit, I didn't know about cars like that. So I'm thinking the car was going to take everything. But I had a limit on the car for like $700. So at the time, I had to go to the bank to go get the money. So I had already paid $500 for the deposit. So I'm going to the bank to go get the other two bands. So I went to the bank, and I remember she told me the machine. I tried to take it all out the ATM, and that's before I knew about it. So I tried to take $22,000 out of the ATM. At the time, it blocked me at $3. So I got $300 bills, and I'm sitting there looking mad, like, man, where's the rest of my money? Like, I remember I had to pull around and go in there and get the money. And she didn't have nothing but straight 20s. So I'll say, like, the wad of cash I had was probably about that big, around that big. And I tried to put it in my wallet. I ended up breaking my wallet. I tried to put it in my wallet, and it wouldn't work. So I remember I got back to the real place, and he said, yeah, so where's the rest of the boom, boom. So I pulled the money out the wallet, and I'm counting it for him. And I remember at the time, I looked at him like, man, I had him the money, here, you got it. And he looked at me, he was like, man, what you do? He's like, you gotta, he's like, man, you gotta sell some type of, and this is an older cat, so he telling, he keeping me like, man, you gotta sell some type of drugs. How old you is? I said, 18. He said, man, ain't nowhere in the world you just getting some money like this. And I looked at it, I was like, I work at a warehouse. I'm a manager at a warehouse now. And he, they should be hiring me up there with you. And at that point, that's what I knew. I was like, man, I just knew it was something different. At that point, I could see that God was he was changing my life at that time. And got back to school. I say that's when we had the COVID season. That's when all the teams was playing in, March 2021, that spring season. So we was playing in that spring season, and we ended up going 7-1. We was one game short of national championship. We really should have. I feel like if we would have at least came with a little bit more energy, we would have won that game and been probably won the national championship. So we was, I'll say, one game short. I ended up getting a couple of D1 offers after that season, but my goal at that time was to win a national championship. I wanted to bring a natty back to Kilgore at the time, and that was my goal, was to get that ring. So I ended up passing up on UIW and a couple more D1 schools. Middle Tennessee State, they offered me in the summer. I ended up passing on them too. And I remember I went back to Kilgore that following season in the fall, man. And that's this past season that we just had. And me and my friend, my brother, to this day, Wallace Unamba, the left tackle, we played together for 2 years at Kilgore. Me and him, I'll say, was probably the most dynamic duo in NJCAA this past year. I'll say we was the most dynamic duo when it came to O-lineman. That left side, it was like bodies dropping every 5 minutes. You would look up, his bodies dropping, his bombs over Baghdad. That's how coach used to say it. His bombs over Baghdad on that left side. Because, man, first game out, we played Tyler. First game out, I'm at like 11 pancakes. He's at like 15. We're going crazy. I'm talking about you. It's a play on my film, a highlight tape, I think around the second play, where I pancake somebody. I draw the linebacker, pancake him. He pancake him to do it at the same time. So it's like in unison. You think it was like something pulled out. Man, it's crazy. He went crazy. I ended up finishing that season with 65 pancakes. He finished it with 70. I think around about 70. And I had got Rivals JUCO All-American the year following that, and I ended up getting it again this year. So I'm excited, man. The offers starting to roll in. I ended up picking up around, I'll say, 15 offers, including Grambling, and I am getting some late ones in with Syracuse. But at the time, I took like two or three visits. I took one to Tarleton State, one to Commerce, and I took one to Northwestern State. That was my first one. And the visits was cool, don't get me wrong, but I'm used to having a brother as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? It's from my high school to my first time in college, I had the luxury of having two black head coaches in both levels. So it's like now I'm used to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to having a brother as a head coach because it's the demand for what you do is different from a brother. I'll say this because he's coming from you with a side with viewpoint of I've been in your shoes before. He's been through what I've been through before. You see what I'm saying? So I know we can relate to a whole bunch of different topics. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing a visit, and as I'm at the visit at Tarleton State, I did the visit to Tarleton State around the 5th. As I'm on the visit, I'm planning on committing and Grambling on the visit. But I don't want to do it on the visit. I want to wait till as soon as he dropped me off at home, I'm going to do it. So I'm getting all my stuff together. I'm telling Coach Simon them, I'm finna commit, man. And I remember, when as soon as Tarleton State dropped me off, I waited probably an hour till he got down the road. Man, I posted that thing. I said, man, thank you all the universities that's been recruiting me, and thank you for all the coaches that's been showing me love, but I'm sticking with HBCU. I'm going back to my roots. I'm going back to where I feel like will be home for me. And I haven't even taken a visit here, so people will tell me, you ain't even take a visit to Grambling. Why you commit to him? I'm like, man, you don't see that brother they got as a head coach?
Right.
Y'all see the brother
Let
they have
them
as a
know.
head coach? Come on, man. Come
Let
on,
them
man.
know.
Like, that's a visit right there in itself. That's a visit right there. I'm good. And my dad, I remember my dad was more excited than me. He was like, man, you got Hugh Jackson as your head coach. I remember Hugh had FaceTime me and Wallace, and I showed my dad, man. My dad he was more excited. He was, because he remember when Hugh was coaching with the Browns, with the Bengals, with the Raiders. And my dad's a big sports dude. He watch sports every day. So like he was more excited. He was more excited than me at that time. So it was a pretty big deal for us.
Exactly. Coach Jackson, man, I believe he is going to implement an offense that we have not seen in the SWAC, balanced offense.
Oh, yeah.
People who watch him coach offense and they go back to Tennessee State, they forget Eddie George wanted a run-based offense. Since Eddie George was the head coach, of course he's going to have say. So he told Hugh Jackson, hey, can you do more tight end, screen and rolls, play action? Hugh Jackson likes to air that thing out, but he likes to keep it balanced as well. And his coaching is going to be in display. I told a couple people, my brother, that, of course, Jackson State is getting a lot of talent, and kudos to them. But I can't 100% sure say who's going to win the SWAC. I can say that they're the favorite. They won the SWAC, so that's respect. But Grambling, FAMU, and Alabama A&M, that's going to be a tug of war. And the teams with the best trench play, you know, and the play call, the trench play will decide who wins it all. It's all about all about the trenches. But brother, I wanted to ask you, when you visited Grambling State, how was the campus, the people there, and meeting Coach Hugh Jackson in person?
Man, it was, I'll say, just dapping up Hugh Jackson in itself kind of broke the visit off of me. That was like when I first got here, because see, I didn't take a visit. I as soon as I committed to Grambling, I enrolled on the 10th. So I'm already here. So it was like, at this point, me going in the coach's office and dapping up all these coaches with NFL experience. You know, my O-line coach, Coach Hudson, coaching the Browns, also being the offensive line coach on the LSU National Championship team, this past National Championship team, 2019. Him telling me all the people he know, him telling all the connections, like that in itself broke off everything. That just made me feel at home right there. And the campus, man, my experience at Kilgore Junior College was, I'll say, only about six to seven beautiful women on campus. And, you know, the rest you can put it in, you can put it as well as what you want to put it. But, man, when I first got here, my first thing was, man, there's so many beautiful black women on campus. And, like, you're seeing, like, new ones every day. I feel like a kid at the candy shop. Man, I'm excited as a young man. I'm just like, man. But that, and also everybody treating me like I'm at home. Everybody treat me like, you know, aunties, uncles, you know, how they would treat you when you come over their house. You know, everybody treat me like I feel at home. It's more of a feel like I've been here before. And that's the feeling that you would want from a school, is like you've been there before. And people are telling me, like, man, you know, hey, Graham, I tell them too, Graham, we got something coming. Because not only did they get me, but my partner, my brother, Wallace Unamba, two-time All-American left tackle, he's coming to Graham with me. We finna play on the same side. So it's like,
if you haven't, I'm trying to let them know, brother, if you haven't watched this film, and just like this brother's film, at Kilgore, I mean, if there's a title for cornerbacks no-fly zone, there should be a title for offensive linemen that are not giving up sacks. I call it unlimited pancakes.
I say bombs over Baghdad.
Bombs over Baghdad. I like that better. I like that better.
Serve them up.
Bombs over Baghdad. A lot of hitting, man.
Serve them up. Oh yeah.
So did Coach Jackson tell you about how he's going to orchestrate this team, like offensive standpoint or anything, or was it just like how he's going to build the roster?
Only thing I'll say is I caught a little glimpse of, you know, everything. It's a lot of, I'll say this, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be I'll say they're putting together some crazy stuff right now. Because, you know, all them creative minds in there and all the NFL experience in that room right there, it's going to be something. That's all I can put it. I know it's going to be, because at Kilgore, we were ranked number one offense 3 years.
I think he froze up. A little bit, my brother. Until he comes back, I'm gonna read some of these comments. Thomas says no seats in the SWAC stadium should be empty. Yeah, it should never be an empty stadium in SWAC games at all. Shady says my daughter goes to Grambling. LOL. Oh man, I hope she enjoys her time at Grambling.
Hello? Y'all
Yes,
hear me?
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, shoot, at JUCO, we had with the number one offensive nation 3 years in a row. You just don't get that coming into junior college. That's probably, I'll say, one of the hardest achievements they've had. Is my OC from Kilgore. He just became the La Tech running back coach. So I've seen this dude come up with some crazy plays. We've helped him create some crazy plays. So me telling y'all that it's gonna be some crazy stuff coming to ground, it's some stuff I've never seen before. Like it's some NFL type of plays that's gonna happen. And it's gonna be crazy.
And one thing about the SWAC conference, if you have a quarterback, especially with offensive line, but if you have a quarterback who's balanced, who can run, but runs to throw, especially for a big play, there's a lot of quarterbacks on this roster that can do that. And I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on Grambling. I'm looking at predictions talking about, Grambling, they're going to have an improved season, but they're going to go 7-4. I don't know about that. I think it's going to be better than that. For
7-4.
Yeah, like people talking about 7-4. The schedule's hard. We'll see.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel. See, I've been on a championship team. I've been on some winning. I'm telling you, I feel it, and I feel it. It's a lot of excitement. Oh yeah.
You should be excited, man. This is the HBCU renaissance going on, and now it's popular now to go to HBCU schools. See, back then, before transfer portal and everything else, they scoffed at it and didn't really take notice to it. Now there's high school kids, and unfortunately, years ago when they scoffed at trying to get an offer at a HBCU, now they barely have offers because of the transfer portal, and they're begging HBCU schools, "Hey, I know I didn't take you seriously, but can you give me an offer?" See, the times have turned. You got to jump on this wave before it's too late.
Oh yeah. This boat is taking off. Come on, that's all I'm saying. It's taking off.
Exactly. Is there a game next season that you're looking forward to? There's going to be a lot. I checked the schedule. Grambling has the toughest schedule in the SWAC so far. It's not even close. But is there a game you're looking forward to?
Man, I can't wait till we go to Arkansas State and prove people wrong and to show people what this new Graham is. Because I know we can do it. I feel like we can go up there to Arkansas State and show them boys, them FBS boys, what the SWAC is about. That's what I feel. That's the game I'm ready for right there.
That's what I'm talking about right there. I've talked to a lot of Grambling commits. I'm letting y'all know they are not fearful of no team. They think they could win against anybody, and that's the mindset you got to have. Some people may say it's cockiness, but to have a championship mindset, and Romello knows this best because he's part of champions, you got to believe that you can win every game. Why are you playing the sport if you don't believe it?
Yes, sir.
And last question, what is your goal for next season, individually and team-wise as well?
I'm going to start off with the big one. The big picture is bringing that championship home, whether it's NCAA tournament championship or going out there to Georgia to get that big boy. To me, I feel like I just want to start off bringing back Graham, old school Graham. I'm talking Eddie Graham. I'm talking about, Eddie Robb. I'm talking about that Graham, bringing that back. And I feel like that's one of my main goals is to bring that back to Graham right there. And individually, I want to start off All-American. That's first. That's the main thing for me is All-American. I'm cool with first team, but I want the big one. I want All-American. I want first team All-American family O-lineman, Romello Watson right there on that headline right there. That's what I want.
Exactly. And team goals. Well, you already did team goals. Sorry about that. this young man right here that you listen to, not only intelligent, but he's been through a lot, so he's battle tested. You see everybody, all the players that come from smaller schools that go to the NFL, you hear their stories. They've been through the fire. They've been through the grind. They know what it's like to be doubted. And I feel that if you keep doing what you're doing and working hard because you have the work ethic, your dreams will continue to come true. You have a strong family. You're playing for a strong coach in Hugh Jackson, who's a brother who understands us as people, not trying to play quote unquote politics. You know how these coaches are, not all. It makes a difference. Being coached by NFL coaches who came from the NFL, either played or was an assistant. That's what you're getting at Grambling.
Right.
But any last words before we roll out, my brother?
Oh man, thank you for having me on here, man. This is exciting. This was exciting for me to be on, and this is one of the first times I've ever been on the YouTube interview before and been on the podcast. This is amazing, and thank you for all the support for HBCUs and for anybody out there listening, man. Y'all just be ready to get that popcorn ready and be ready to come in one of them Graham games. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I got to stock up on my Grambling merch. I got Jackson State. I got FAMU. I need to restock on some Grambling merch. Got to support. And thank you, brother, for joining the show. Romello Watson, man. That brother, man. Great story. Oh, Romello, you wasn't trying to leave.
Oh no, it's kicking me out. That's why I'm like, man. But yeah,
Okay,
man, yeah.
okay.
Y'all just ready to get that popcorn ready, man. Come to one of them grand games. We finna surprise the nation.
He ain't just trying to. You heard that? You ain't trying to just surprise the swag, but the whole FCS, man. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm gonna have a live stream at the end of the season because I have a good feeling. I know it won't be no 4 losses. I know Hugh Jackson is a respectable coach to not have 4 losses. I'm here. I'm looking at the spaces. I was like, come on, man. I know they got a new coach, but this is different.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is a man that is one of the respected offensive minds. And here's the thing. They go and look at the Browns and say, oh, look what he did with the Browns. But who has success with the Browns? There was a coach. I forgot his name. There was a coach who helped build the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, right, to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the Browns the next year, and they didn't have a good season. So it's tough to win a team like that. So sometimes coaches are put in a situation where the organization don't surround them with talent. You know how it is for brothers who are in the NFL. You got one head coach who's black in the NFL, and that's Mike Tomlin right now. Everybody else been fired. We never have the fair share. We never dealt with with a great hand.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, brother, you're welcome anytime, and we're gonna be rooting for you. And if you ever feel like coming on a show for a post game, let me know. Yeah, Butch Davis. That's his name, Butch Davis. All right. So that's Romello Watson, man. Thank you for joining the show, my brother. What's your?
Thank you too. Thank you for having me on here.
And where can we follow you on Instagram or any other? I have your Twitter.
My Instagram is a big move Mello, BIGMOVE Mello MELO.
Good. I'm gonna write down your Twitter right here. Oh, one more thing before you head out. So hypothetically, this is hypothetically, what if Grambling plays a team that blitzes all the time. Like all they do is blitz. All they do is blitz. Is that a favorable matchup?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. As soon as they bring that hot linebacker, and I know for a fact, of the NFL terminology, we're gonna have running back to pick up that I'll say that sixth man. O-line pick up 5, running back pick up that 6. That 7th is on the quarterback. So as soon as they bring that 7, the quarterback throw it over their head, touchdown every time.
Mm-hmm. High IQ right there. Yeah, that NFL terminology, man. When you play against an NFL offense, you're better off going zone.
Mm-hmm.
You may give up plays, but you better off doing that than blitzing, guys.
Yeah. You better not bring that extra
you
linebacker because you only got 2 of them. You better not bring them. You better not bring them.
They pull that Houdini.
Yeah.
Let me read this. Kay Howard, thank you for the $10 super chat to help grow the nation. She says, we are happy to have this young man at Grambling. Thanks for this awesome interview. They loving the interview, my brother. They loving the interview. Got you back on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. So we about to head out, man. This was fun. I'm gonna start doing more of these interviews. And your teammate, the All-American JUCO from Kilgore, tell him to hit me up. I would love to do a show.
I got you for sure.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And we're out. Peace out, everybody. Peace and blessings. Like the video, share the video. This is all love, swag love, HBCU love, man. Shout out to Grambling State, the Gram fam. Peace.